Hi everybody. So I'm Mel RDH and what's my story? Which one, honestly? But, well, don't worry, we'll only talk about my dental one. My whole life I've had a double life. I modeled my whole life and I also have been in the dental field. So it's, some days were a little bit of a struggle when I was trying to balance both of my lives. But anyways, we won't get into that. There's the long story and there's the short story. But I guess we'll just go with the short story for now and the reason why I started ICEE. So overall, I knew I wanted to help people. I started really early. I started, in high school. I was taking college courses at a school called EVIT. I'm sure, a lot of people here in Arizona have heard of that. And I had the opportunity to start college courses early to start my career early. And to be completely honest, I'm very blessed with the family I have, and my parents, gave us everything they absolutely could. But, we weren't the most wealthiest, so I just knew that if I started early, I could save money because you didn't have to pay for the college courses. And so I could, possibly get ahead. So I did. And so I started my junior year. I thought I was actually going to be a nurse. And then I realized nursing wasn't for me. And I was kind of bummed because I was like, dang, here's an awesome opportunity, and I don't think I want to be a nurse. So then after talking to my friends, one of them just happened to be like, hey, don't you love your dentist? And I had to kind of laugh about it. And I was like, yeah, they're able to try dentistry, try the dental field, whatever. And so I did. And my senior year, I decided to take the dental assisting program at EVIT, and I absolutely loved it. President of my class, and I just kind of ran with it. Graduated at 17 years old from high school as a DA already, and I wasn't going to stop there. I wanted to keep going. So then I applied for hygiene school and got accepted and decided that was more of my passion. And although there was a little part of me that thought maybe I'd be a dentist, but I just fell in love with dental hygiene, and I just couldn't see myself being a dentist. So I decided to stay there, honestly. And so where did my journey go from there? I decided to move to California, and I transferred my license, and that's honestly where this whole love for my patients kind of started. Well, for two reasons. So one, I just remember working on a patient, and she had something that just seemed very abnormal on her, in her mouth. And I asked my dentist to come over and look at it. Thought it was possibly, cancerous lesion. And, keep in mind, I was a year in the field already, and some dentists don't want to just check every little thing you find because, sometimes you just, as, being new to the field, you kind of overdo it. But my dentist decided to come through and trust my judgment, and we sent her to a specialist, and sure enough, it was a cancerous lesion. And from there forward, I just told myself, there's so much more I can do. As a provider, I don't think we know our superpower. We can catch things before it gets worse. We can, technically save lives. And so I just wanted to keep going. And so I made my way back to Arizona. And after, temping and working permanently in California, and then started temping in Arizona again, unfortunately, you come across businesses and dentists that, have absolutely no integrity. Unfortunately, you see things on a treatment plan or that's said that you just know the patient doesn't need. And that didn't sit well with me. I told myself that I need to open my own practice. I need to do something where people can come to my practice and know that I don't look at them as a dollar sign. They can absolutely trust me. And I just knew that was my end goal. And so, speed up the story here. My other half is my fiance, and he's actually a dentist. And so we do own our practice here in North Scottsdale. So, and in some weird way that actually kind of happened. And so it's great because I've had patients follow me for about 10 plus years now. I think the ones that fly in are a little crazy, but I'm very blessed that you fly in to see me. But they all have the same story. They had dental anxiety, or they didn't trust a dentist, or something horrible happened, and so they're like, we'll always travel for you, Mel. And so I'm happy to know that I started that journey, and the one thing that I can give back is just to continue to make my patients healthy. And so I am not a believer in recommending anything I've never tried before. And so I was like, you know what? I mean, I'm not a hygienist where if my patient comes to me and is like, hey, have you tried this yet? And I haven't, I almost feel like I have to go buy it and try it to give them my honest opinion. And I started doing that. And finally it just hit me, and I was like, why don't I have my own dental hygiene line where I can just create the products and know exactly how they work, and make different products for different types of patients, and and obviously recommend it. But the best part about starting this is that my double life of I'm in fashion and media, and one thing I've noticed with people is that they will try something or use it if it's trendy, if it's cool, if it's whatever it is. So I was like, okay, how can I make hygiene cool? How can I make my patients healthier, but not make it feel like it's like a task you have to do, but instead make they feel cool or trendy while they're doing it. And so I was like, why don't I just make a whole entire hygiene line and make everything look fashionable and trendy and cool and whatever, And so I decided to use my influence for good in that way. So I created, the bulletproof tongue scraper, the metal ones that are super artsy, cool looking, the ice, the glow, whatever I could do to motivate my patients to use their hygiene products. And again, this is, still a little bit of the beginning of my journey of this, and, I'm just excited. I'm excited to help my patients, and I want to continue on finding natural products. I want to know exactly what's going, in their system. And that's a little bit of my short story. I'm so excited to start this journey, and thank you so much for listening. And I will give you guys my long story sometime, but thank you.